Welcome back to The Messier the Better. Rebecca Mueller, licensed registered family therapist, here to help you make sense of the messes in your life right now. It's not always going to be messy, but right now, it might feel that way. So today we're going to talk about conflict, and we're going to talk about what conflict, particularly in relationships, does to our brain. And we're going to talk about it in a way where I'm going to give you 4 steps that you can decompress your brain so that you can re-enter that relationship while looking for connection. Conflict always threatens our connection with people. And usually it's this conflict that has slammed us, blindsided us, and we didn't even see coming. And then we're like, what do we do with this? How do we even manage this? And to be quite frank with you, we are already in a reaction space where our words and our thoughts, honestly, are probably not reflective of our character. If we slowed a conflictual interaction down and we did slow motion and we took it frame by frame, I bet you would say, you know what, I said that, but that's not who I am. Or I did this, that's not who I am, and that's not what I meant, and I would never do that in real life. I know because I've done it. But let me tell you this. In conflict, when it blindsides us and we didn't anticipate this kind of a relational tension, we are all of a sudden affronted and our nervous system goes into massive reaction. It's trying to figure out, am I fighting or am I fleeing? If we can't do either one of those, sometimes we even freeze. Now, I say this because in the frozen state, we can even agree to things that we actually don't agree to just to get out of the tension. I know I'm not the only one who's done that. I know you've done it. So, how do we stop this whole cycle of reaction so that we give ourselves time and space to reduce our body's nervous system response in this conflict? So how do we give ourselves time and space to reduce the stress within our nervous system so that we actually have time not to react, but to respond? I'm so glad you asked. I asked the same thing. And listen, this is a massive, massive, massive shift in how you would actually communicate and do conflict. And if you're able to do this, please know it takes a lot of practice. We've been in conflict since, 2 years old. We're really good at doing what we're doing, but we're adults now. And if we're adults, why are we still fighting like we're 2, 5, 13 years old? It's a mystery to me. So let's dive in. Number 1, when you are absolutely blindsided by this conflict, what I want you to do is to take it all in. I want you to listen. I want you not to respond, not to react, until that person takes a deep breath. Now, the caveat to this is if you feel like this is verbal abuse, if you feel like this is emotional abuse, you can say, you know what, I need to walk away. Your safety, your mental health safety, your brain safety comes first. You can walk away from a conversation and you can re-enter when the conversation feels more calm. If your safety at all, whether it's physical or your safety comes paramount. But let's pretend the situation is safe, but you feel like it's a little too much. Go ahead and listen. Listen, take it in. Sometimes I've even had to take notes because my brain is so busy trying to figure out if I'm going to fight or flight that I'm actually not hearing the person. So why don't you try that? Take notes. And then I want you to say, you know what? I need some time to think about this. Give me half hour. Give me an hour. Let's talk about it tonight. Let's talk about it when it's more convenient. Because in that space right now, you need time to align your nervous system with your brain. And so that everything right now is incongruent, we need to get it congruent. So in your private time, what I want you to do is I want you to take the notes, if you are able to, and write them down. I want you to write down everything you heard. Don't write down what you think about it. Just write down everything that you heard. So you make sure that you are addressing whatever is coming towards you. And then I want you to do a little vent journal. A vent journal is where you get to just journal out everything. There's neuroscience that says when we put a pen to paper and we actually push against the paper and we're pinching our fingers together, it actually helps decrease the adrenaline in our nervous system that is telling us to fight or flight. But really, fighting and fleeing are not going to do anything for us when it comes to engaging in actual conflict resolution. So go ahead and take out that pen and paper. Sometimes you're going to be messy. Sometimes it's going to be fast. Sometimes it's going to be slow. Sometimes you're going to cry. Crying is good. Crying doesn't mean anything except for your nervous system was overwhelmed and it needs something to decompress. Those tears are going to help the cortisol decompress. Cry. Cry. You're hurt. Cry. And then once you vent it out, now here's step 2. I want you to turn that page and I want you to list out all the things that you know are true. Knowing is thinking and feeling combined. If I know something is true, no matter what I'm thinking, I actually know, my body knows it's true. And if my body is telling me something different, like, oh my gosh, somebody's at my door and there's nobody there, then my mind can say, hold on, just open the door. I got you. Let's check it out. And then we know nobody's at the door. So knowing is a combination of feeling and thinking at the same time. So I want you to write a list, all the things that you know are true. This can look like 1,000 different things. It can be about you. It can be about the relationship. It can be about your partner. It can be about the person. It can be about your past. It can be about what you believe about the future. Anything that helps you bring you back to that steady space, that safe space that you have for yourself. That is a beautiful thing because conflict makes us feel unsafe. And so if we can create for ourselves this wonderful platform, I was thinking foundation actually, this foundation of what we know is true, then as our nervous system wants to take us out of that and either to fight it or to flee it, I'm coming back to this is what I know is true. That's awesome. Here's step 3. Step 3 is going to be, I want you to list ways in which you trust yourself. I trust myself to have clear communication. I trust myself to make sure I'm safe. I trust myself that I am in a situation in which I choose to be. I trust myself that if I'm in a situation that I don't choose to be in, then I need to make actions to change up my situation. All the ways that we trust ourselves. See, most of our shenanigans, most of our mess comes because we don't trust ourselves, or we don't follow through for ourselves, or we don't choose ourselves and what's in our best interests. When we choose best for ourselves, we automatically will be able to show up with confidence. We'll be able to show up with assuredness, with a calmness, and with a space for other people. If I don't show up for myself and I'm trying to show up for everybody else and I'm trying to be there for everybody else, it's all going to burn us out. So how do you trust yourself? Maybe in this moment, the person in the relationship brought you something that you don't agree with. How do you trust yourself? Maybe to communicate that to them. Maybe you need to trust yourself that this relationship can't hold what I really want to share with this person, and then I need to take steps to protect myself. Maybe that means putting distance in the relationship. Maybe that means putting your expectations in the right order for yourself. And when we put ourselves first, again, we get to be authentic. Again, we get to be authentic in any way we show up for other people and in our lives. Remember, we're supposed to be with people, not every moment, every day. We're not supposed to burn ourselves out, but we are supposed to be with people. We are built for relationship. Number 1, for ourselves, and number 2, for those that we love. So here's step number 4. And I love this one. This is where that vent journal and what you heard and what you would say and how you respond, and then what you know is 100% true, and then how you trust yourself. Now we're creating an action plan. That action plan is for you. That's it. It's not for the other person. See, the other person's not doing this reflection. You're doing it because remember, We can only control ourselves. So here we go in the action plan. Number one is short term. What do I want to do with this right now? Do I want to engage it? Do I not want to engage it? And if I don't want to engage it, I need to let the person know, you know what, I need a little more time with this. I'm not sure how to respond and I really want it to be productive. I need a few days. It's okay to take time and space. There is nothing that's happening that needs you to address it immediately, again, unless your safety is at risk. Number two, I need you to identify long-term goals. What's your goal for this relationship? What's your goal for healthy friendships? Maybe healthy, intimate relationships with a partner? What's your goal for healthy relationships with your children or your family members? If there's a healthy goal and you can be a part of making that health happen, awesome. But remember, relationships take two people. And sometimes when we're in a relationship with somebody who's not so healthy, we can do anything and everything in our power and beyond to try to make that person healthy. But you know what? Sometimes we just need to take a step back because that person needs to grow and they are not growing if we're doing the work for them. So we pull back and allow this person to move forward in their own personal growth. And then the hope is that that relationship can grow closer or be reconciled. Not all relationships are going to be reconciled. We know this. We were all in elementary school once with the people on the playground, and we were besties one day, and then the next day we weren't. And then the next grade level we were, and then the next grade level we weren't. And you know what? This is relationships with people. And so while conflict can feel super messy and out of control, our nervous system is just responding to being blindsided. That's it. That's it. If you can calm your nervous system down, and these are 4 ways to do so cognitively, and taking that time and space is helping your body calm down anyway. You can re-enter that with a communication pattern that actually furthers not only you, but it furthers the relationship. Try it out. What do you have to lose? Maybe try it in a relationship where you have nothing to lose. Sometimes those are the best relationships to try this out with. For those of my clients that are dating and they're dating just for fun and they're dating as kind of early stages, I always say, try it out. Why wouldn't you? You have nothing to lose. You're not attached to this person. Go for it. Be you. Try to do these healthy patterns. And when we do healthy patterns, we start weeding out those that can't keep up with the healthy patterns. Sometimes those of us who are knee deep in relationships wish we had done that at the beginning. So try this out, whether or not the relationship is long term or whether you just started a relationship. This gives you an opportunity to make sure that you're still choosing to be part of a relationship that you really want and that is good for you and reflects your character and allows you to be authentic. And that other person is absolutely being able to do the same thing. Don't be afraid of conflict. It's scary. I know, says your nervous system, but I'm giving you the tools in your brain that can help you align your mind and your body so that it doesn't become scary and it just becomes a normal part of what we do in relationships. Conflict is normal. Anybody who says, oh, you fight too much, I'm going to tell you right now, that may be true, but it's not the amount of conflict, it's how we do conflict. And if we're committed to seeing that relationship through, then we're going to finesse the way we do conflict. If I have couples who come to me and see me and they say, we don't have conflict, number one, you're seeing me, so there's something going on. And number two, then somebody's not talking, or 2 people aren't talking, and 2 people are fleeing and not talking about the difficulties that they share. Because every relationship has difficulties. We see it in our kids. We see it in our friendships. We've lived life a really long time. We know it. We've done it. We're in it. So why don't we make it a little less messy? I would love to know your thoughts on this. And obviously, this is not the only way to make it through conflict, I promise. This is just one idea for you to give you some space to do some self-reflection before you re-engage your partner. I hope it helps. I hope it gives you just a few little tidbits for you to try. And remember, it's going to take practice. So don't expect this to work immediately. I know. I wish I had a magic wand. I say that to a lot of my clients, and I just don't. If I did, I'd give it to you, and I'd be out of a job. I mean, maybe that's a good thing. I hope you're well. I hope that you stick around. Come back for more. The messier can be better. And when it's better, sometimes it's what's best for us. And I'm in it with you. Here to encourage, here to give you hope, here to give you practical tips on how you can start engaging that mess. And I am here because I've done it. I sit with people who are doing it, and I'm so privileged to do so. I hope you're well. Have a great day.